Hello, welcome. This is my YouTube channel, Ben Koss Match Fishing. I wanted to do a little video. Obviously, it's quite difficult to get out fishing at the moment. So yeah, I've just started my YouTube channel, and I'm going to try and do a few little videos just to sort of get us going, get me used to using the camera, getting used to using the equipment and all the bits and pieces. Bit of editing, obviously, a bit of filmmaking, and we'll go from there. So yeah, welcome to my channel. I want to sort of talk about some of the things that I'm looking to hopefully do on my channel. Going to be some live matches, going to be some tackle reviews, going to be some interviews, hopefully, with some interesting anglers, but also not just your normal professional anglers that you see in the mainstream press all the time. I want to try and get out with some very good open match anglers and see it how they fish from their point of view. So not just your normal people you see on the mainstream press all the time. I'm going to be getting out and hopefully sitting behind and getting a point of view from some, as far as I'm concerned, some absolutely excellent anglers. I won't mention any names, but yeah, hopefully going to be some interesting stuff. As I said, I did mention obviously the live matches, but yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention, obviously I'm going to be going through some of my tackle, some of the stuff that I use in my fishing. But yeah, one of the methods that has been, it's a bit like Marmite. You could actually mention this method to a few of the anglers and they're like, oh, I'm not going to touch that. I'm definitely not going to be using those. Other anglers absolutely swear by it. But it's one of those methods that if you're sitting next to somebody on the day that it's working and you're not doing it, then you can get absolutely walloped. You really can, which we have proven quite a few times. That method is the slow sinker. What is the slow sinker, you're asking? The slow sinker is basically a way of presenting your pellet, or should we say 8mm pellets, fishing for carp, in deep water, 10, 12, 14 foot deep. You do need a bit of depth to get it to work, should we say. It's a way of presenting your pellet through the water rather than having it as a static bait. So the idea being, obviously, a pellet waggler, a traditional pellet waggler, you'll be suspending your 8mm pellet 8, 10, 12, 2 foot, 3 foot from the surface. A bomb, zig rig, you're suspending your bait from the bottom. Again, a static bait. But this slow sinker, on its day, really is something a bit special. I've got sort of a variation of different ones here that I've been using over the last few years. And there is anglers out there who absolutely love it. There's a venue that we fish, Albans Lakes. The match lake itself is probably about 12, 14 foot deep in places, 8, 10, 12, 14 foot deep in places. This is sort of one of the oldest style ones. You'll see it's got like a little piece on the bottom there. The idea being, you put a little bit of micros or pellets or a bit of ground bait in here. You take the little plug off and then put a couple of number 8 shots in the bottom. So if it hits the surface at the moment, it will just basically sit there. Those couple of number 8 shots or 3 number 8 shot, depending on how much weight you put in, then this will obviously then go through the water. There is lots of different ones, or ones that anglers have used. There's a smaller version here that you put water in. These are very small and tend to probably be easier with absolutely no wind at all, probably casting 15 meters, something like that. You've then got the Fox bolt bubbles, which I think the carp anglers use for sort of surface fishing. Again, you fill them with water, but you literally fill them till you can't get any water in them at all. And what you're really looking to do is you're looking to imitate that 8mm pellet that's going through the water. Obviously, we've got the small, we've got the large. These have actually got some gelatin. Also, you can put a type of sort of araldite or glue, so you haven't got to keep filling up with water all the time. There's lots and lots of different ideas. Ones that I have leaned towards the last sort of year or two, thanks to a couple of other anglers, are these style here. They're called, I think they're called something like the One Float, or Float One, something like that. You take the bottom piece off here, and you take the top piece off here. There's one here that's not, this one here is not elasticated, so this is how you buy it. The top and bottom comes off to be able to fill it with water, but you literally have to fill it to the top, otherwise it just literally won't sink. But the idea being, you don't want to overfill it. You don't want it to go through the water too quick. You want it to go through the water and imitate that 8mm pellet perfectly. A little syringe is handy just to get it to fill all the way to the top. A very good friend of mine over at Auburn's Lakes has, again, take this method very, very seriously. Some know him as Magic. He basically puts elastic in the bottom and in the top. So again, you've got your main line at the top, you've got your hook length for the bottom, 8mm pellet, and as you're pinging your 8mm pellet, it's the same as if you're fishing a pellet waggler. The idea being this plops on the surface, and when I say plops, you've got to make sure that it's, if you splash it in, you don't tend to get a bite. It's one of those ones where you sort of feather it in, you make sure you've got a nice tight line, and it can be frantic pulling the rod out of your hand if you get that sweet cast each time. But yeah, as I said, it's a method that you either love or you hate. But if it is working, it is one of those things that you're just going to have to do. Otherwise, you're just going to get beaten up every time you go. Some of the guys that fish it at Auburn's have it off to an absolute fine art. But I'm sure it will work at other deep venues where the fish are feeding in those upper layers. Another way of doing it is some people can overshot a float. So you get a pellet waggler or some sort of waggler, and you can overshot it. Again, you're looking to sort of bring your pellets through the water to imitate those pellets that you're pinging in. But yeah, it's one of those methods, as I said, that has evolved from this to these, with gelatin, with glue, araldite, you put inside to sort of add to the weight, to these with the elasticated version. But they are something very, 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 very good. Won lots and lots and lots of matches at Auburn's, and on their day, it can't be beaten. It literally cannot be beaten in the summertime over there. It really can't. So I hope you enjoy my rough and ready videos. I'm going to be doing, as I said, lots and lots of different content. I'm going to be trying to get out with lots of different types of people and different anglers. And yeah, thanks ever so much for tuning in, and we'll speak soon. Thank you.